This is the Zach Ansbury Show.
Welcome. On today's podcast clip, we have the head of marketing of the Collingwood Football Club, Karina Whiteford. So you've had you've been across everywhere. A lot of different
I feel like
places.
you're amping me up so hard, but that's good. That's fine. I can take that.
I think it's awesome. Across all of your different roles, like, is there a commonality between them, or like a challenge that you've really faced throughout it? Is there something there that you... I mean, you mentioned just a minute ago that you do find it quite different being a female, balancing your life and your career. And you are actually the first female guest, not by choice. And it's just a situation of whoever visited the Institute, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
So is that something that you're quite conscious of? Because it's something I've never had to deal with, right?
Yeah. And I think, look, everyone has their own lifestyle, wants and needs and goals in life. And I think for me, a family has always been something that I've always wanted. But certainly I understand that I am not the sort of person that clocks in at 8:30 and at 5 o'clock every day and just treats my job as a job. I'm always going to be personally invested, and I certainly wear the wins and the losses on me. Like, it's not something I can sort of, as soon as I leave the office, I leave it all behind. So for me, it's a consideration about the type of partner I would need. So it's more about that sort of thing. So rather than seeing my investment in work as a negative thing, it's about going, well, the ultimate goal of a family is just, it's a nice thing based on the things that I actually enjoy in my life as a single person, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not necessarily a challenge in the sense that I have to be really on top of any particular topic, or the clocks are ticking or anything like that. And certainly it might be for others, but for me it's just more so about the balance of life.
Yeah.
So making sure that my work is not 100% of my life, which I struggle with, and sort of making sure I'm making time for hobbies and things to really relax and enjoy the other side of life.
Yeah, to still be a person and a human being.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
Which I think the line is harder when you are invested in what you do and you're passionate about what you do and you want to contribute and make impact, which I know everyone does, but there's different levels of it. And for me, work is not just something that pays the bills. It's something that gives me joy. So
yeah, I agree. I'm probably more in your mindset for that sort of thing, because we spend, a third of our waking lives at work.
Yep.
And I couldn't think of anything worse than doing something that I didn't care about,
Absolutely.
something I wasn't passionate about.
Yeah.
But I do, and I never used to understand people who had careers or jobs that they would just clock in at 9, leave at 5, and they couldn't care less.
Yep.
That's not who I am. Yep. I don't understand them, but they don't understand me or you either.
Absolutely, yeah.
And but it is all about finding that balance and that. One of the things I'm sort of I guess struggling with at the moment, but I think it's a lifelong struggle, is this work-life balance.
Oh,
and
God,
you sort
it
of
does not exist. No.
You just touched on it a minute ago. And I've heard lots of different people speak about this, and it's one of the things that everyone always tries to make you conscious of. But it feels like it's something that people do struggle with when they do have that passion for their job.
Yes.
To pull away from it. And our jobs can follow us now because we
Absolutely.
have technology.
Oh, yeah.
We have a laptop. We have our phones that have our emails on them. People can call us at any time.
Yep.
And you said it's a struggle for you. Is there something that you do to pull it back the other way, or?
Well, I'm actually going through this. I call them growth pains.
Okay.
At the moment, and it's 100% self-management. And this is something that I'm talking to a few mentors about at the moment. Is that, and I realized just over the last week that I will never be the person that strikes a 50-50 balance between work and life. It's just never going to be that way. I've just accepted that I'm invested in work and it will always chew up more than half of my life, or half of whatever the percentage of the week is. So for me, it's more about what balance is sustainable for me. And for me, it doesn't need to be much. Sometimes just having a completely disconnected day of the weekend where I actually don't think about work or make sure I don't check my emails is enough to reset my brain to go, that's the balance I needed. I feel, rejuvenated and like I've had time away. So it's more of a mental thing for me than it is probably an activity-based thing. so yeah, and my brain is constantly on, so constantly trying to solve problems and progress things.
So is it Sunday? You just closed on Sunday?
Well, I'm currently watching the Marvel Universe in order.
Okay.
Of the storyline. So that's been chewing up a lot of my weekend. So I've
they're
been
long
switching
movies.
off well and truly for the past couple of months. But yeah, so it is. And even just recently, the weekend I just had, obviously we had round 1 of AFLW on Sunday. That was a full day.
Yeah.
And Saturday was out and about with friends. So I actually don't feel like I've had that mental switch off. So I'll make time for it this weekend, knowing that if I don't have it, I'll feel off. So yeah, for me, that's just, it's probably a little bit more, I don't know, superficial in the sense that I'm not really going much deeper, but I know that I just need a mental break to make sure that I can keep that going. But in terms of the actual investment of my life, in terms of work, I am working on pulling that back. So, and there's certainly no expectation at work to be that invested. They're all about flexi, which I know a lot of organisations are now, like working from home or flexible hours and looking after yourself. It's just that I just want to do so much and I want to do it quickly. So it's recalibrating the brain to say self-manage, maybe give yourself 2 deadlines instead of 5 or 6. And be a bit healthier about that output.
I'm laughing.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, I can relate to that quite a bit.
It's a passionate person's problem, I think.
Yeah, and so I recently did, and they call it Early Career Researcher Development Program. Mm-hmm. So it's run by one of the professors there, Pat Buckley, and every year they take a cohort of about 25 to 30 ECRs, and they run through every month or so. They'll have sort of different themed days. And one of them was all about self-management and work-life balance. And they'd have examples of past students who'd done this program or high achievers that are now mid-career researchers or late career researchers. Yeah. And the question came up about work-life balance. And I kid you not a single one of them had it right yet.
Yeah.
And most of them, because they care, right? Mm-hmm. And so they're working most of the time. They'll wake up at 4 o'clock so they can exercise or do a bit of work before their kids wake up.
Yep.
And that's what they consider balance. Getting slightly less sleep so they can be a family man or family woman as well.
Yeah.
But they all didn't have the balance quite right, but they all had different ways of managing it. Mm-hmm. So that might be what the solution is about figuring out for you what's your maximum, what's your limits, and what you actually need to switch off. Is that what you would think?
Absolutely. And I think it's always going to be aspirational in both what you can contribute to work and what you can contribute to life. You're never going to get the balance right. You're never going to be like, wow, I am just nailing effectiveness at work and I am just hitting everything. You're never going to get that. So I think it is just about ongoing management and just being realistic that sometimes you're going to get it wrong, sometimes you're going to get it really wrong, and sometimes it's going to feel like you're on the right track. So I think it's just not being too harsh on yourself either and just really self-managing what you need from both sides as well. Yeah. So if it is that little bit hour, less of sleep, so that you can do the things that you enjoy and you feel like that's the right balance, then that's just what it is.
That's what they were doing.
I need more sleep, so I will not be doing that.
Yeah, sleep's important. I try to go to the gym straight after work, and that gives me that little mental break, I suppose. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's very difficult to think about your research when you have, lifting weights. You're going to hurt yourself.
I was going to say, you probably deal with a lot heavier subjects in the brain, I guess, than I would. Mine's just constantly thinking about my to-do list, so...
I have a to-do list on my desk. We print out, we have My Week emails. We send them out every week.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's so what did we accomplish last week? And then what are we planning to do this week?
That too.
It's very effective.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes it's just you get addicted to scratching them out.
That's a very, have you done your Myers-Briggs personality test before?
Yeah.
That is apparently a J thing. Being, if you're judging and not perceptive in that 4th character code. It's about get that satisfaction of ticking off something on your to-do list.
Yeah.
is very, so satisfying.
Yeah, I was wondering at the end of last week, I was a bit grumpy on the Friday. Mm-hmm. I couldn't couldn't put my finger on it. I'm like, why did I feel like I had a bad week? And then on Monday, as I was writing my accomplishments, I was like, I didn't tick anything off. Like,
yeah, it's
all
just
the tasks
there.
are too big.
You know what you might need to implement is something that I literally started maybe 2 weeks ago. Marvelous Mondays.
Marvelous Monday.
Marvelous
Okay.
Mondays. No meetings.
No, that already stuff up. Every week it's like Monday morning at 9:30 we have a meeting.
Maybe you need Fabulous Fridays instead. I'm all about alliteration. It's literally, so my thing is traction as well. So in terms of like that self-management, it's actually about your workload. And my thing, I love being helpful. I'm probably too helpful. So then I overcommit my time.
Yeah.
I'm in a bunch of meetings all the time, and then my actual output in terms of the work that I'm actually doing gets compromised because I'm constantly just pulled from different meetings, which I love. I love helping people, but also I love doing work. So yeah, Marvelous Mondays is a new thing for me. No meetings. I just sit there, churn through work, and my mentality for the week ahead is just so much. I couldn't even articulate how much better I feel about the upcoming week. I could have back-to-back meetings for the rest of the week and still feel like I've done better because I'm ticking off so many things on the Monday that it almost sort of makes the productivity of the week feel much higher regardless of what actually happens.
No more meetings on a Monday.
No more meetings on Monday.
Yeah.
I don't know how I communicate that externally.
I'm all right with that. How about no more meetings for Tuesdays or Wednesdays?
How far can you extend it? Yeah.
There's that internet meme. It's like, when an hour meeting should have just been an email.
Mm-hmm.
You're like,
Well, there's another one. I'm all about reading about these sort of methods for feeling more productive or being more efficient or managing your time better. Obviously, it's a current thing for me. And the former CEO of Westpac, I believe it was, mentioned that she only scheduled meetings for 15 minutes or 45 minutes. There was never a half hour, an hour long meeting. And so that made her workday so much more freed up because it was either, is this worth a significant amount of time, like 45 minutes, or is it a 15-minute debrief, catch up, whatever it is? And I actually mentioned it to my boss, and it's now becoming a thing in our department.
Wow, that's awesome.
To be more effective. And it does make a lot of sense because if you schedule a meeting at say 2:15 to 3 o'clock, and then you have a 3:15, you've got that 15-minute window buffer to debrief and to actually do a few things. Whereas, meetings when you're in back-to-backs and they're all hour long, you don't get that break to even mentally just go and get a drink of water and take a walk or like a quick sort of mental break. So, I'm trying to find different ways of managing my work hours as well to just make me feel better about my contributions. So.
You find that because either I travel for seminars or whatever, or we're delivering some webinars lately, and I always find this. It's like the meeting will start, say hypothetically at 3 p.m.
Yep.
For me with them or my presentation or whatever, and you see people showing up at like 5 or 10 past, and you can never be upset with them because they've just come out of an hour meeting at 3.
Absolutely.
And they're probably on a different floor of the building, or they need to go to the bathroom, or they need to grab a drink, or they need to go.
Like, wow, that was a heavy meeting, or there's so many actions. Totally. So, and I'm pretty sure the principle was that it was never scheduled on the hour. So it was always 3:15 or 3:45.
So it was always scheduled differently as well.
So that you always had that sort of that gap in between. So, a bit of LinkedIn reading.
That's really interesting. I have to look that up a bit more.
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's Zach Ainsbury here with just a couple of quick reminders. If you've enjoyed today's podcast, then make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. There are plenty more interviews to come with some of the world's leading marketing academics and practitioners. You do not want to miss these. In the meantime, if you're looking for another way to connect, then follow me on Twitter at Zach Ainsbury. That is ZACANESBURY for my take on the marketing issues of the day.